Good afternoon and welcome to the Division of Employment Securities webinar on the North Carolina Unemployment Insurance Tax System, referred to as NC Suits. I'm Larry and I'll be serving as your moderator for today's session. Today's session will discuss how to submit payments in NC Suits. And by now, I hope that those on the webinar have either visited our website or have signed on into the new NC Suits tax system. Now, let's look at today's agenda for our short 30-minute program. I'm going to give a brief introduction and background on NC Suits, and then we'll jump right into the demonstration. And following that, as you can see, we will have a Q&A session with our subject matter expert. During this time, we encourage you to share your questions by typing them in the Q&A panel. Click on the three dots on the bottom right corner of your screen, then select Q&A to type in your questions. Please try and keep questions to today's topic, but don't worry if we don't have a chance to address your questions during today's program. We have already created an FAQ section on our website at des.nc.gov/NC Suits. And any questions asked during the session today that are not already on the site will be added for future reference. Also, before we get started, we want you to know that the demonstration for today was created exclusively for training and informational purposes. All information used for this demonstration is fictitious. A little bit of background before we get started with this system demonstration. I'd like to say that the North Carolina State Unemployment Insurance Tax System is a new modernized platform to administer North Carolina's unemployment insurance tax program. The new, robust, easy-to-use cloud-based solution replaces DES's decades-old tax mainframe and remote filing system. This new system launched on November 13th, and again, as we've already mentioned, and as I will show on a screen here shortly, our website, des.nc.gov/NC Suits, has a large amount of materials for you, whether it be walkthrough videos, documents, or FAQs. So please give that a visit when you have a chance. So let's get started. Giving the NC Suits demonstration today is Kevin. He will demonstrate how to submit payments in NC Suits. Kevin, when you're ready, take it away.
Thank you there. All right, let me share my screen. So in NC Suits, there are four methods of making payments, and they are the same four methods that we had in our old system. However, there are a couple of changes to some of those methods. And I'll walk you through those changes today and show you how you can make those payments in Suits. So here on this employer's homepage, if any of you were on our earlier webinar this morning where we demoed wage reporting, this is the same account that we submitted a wage file for. And as you can see right here on our homepage in the wages filing and payment block, it does show that we do have that report. We do have an earlier report that I filed, but it does show we don't have the payment yet, and it is past due because those quarters were supposed to be filed in May and July of this year, excuse me. So we're going to go make some payments today. So a little bit further down on the home page, there's a section called Total Unpaid Taxes and Amount Due. And here it shows everything that's due currently at this time for this account. And there's two ways to get into the payment section. Right here in the same block, you have a Make Payment link. And over on our left-hand menu, you also have payments here. And if you go to this menu, it'll open up this payment function maintenance section. And then you're looking for this very first block here, which is Make Payments. And if you go back to the home page, it will bring you there to the same page. Excuse me, it takes you to the page if you had clicked Make Payments from within inside that last link I just showed you. So so when you go to make payment, you're going to see your account information is now here, some general account information, and then you're going to see payment summary. This particular test account, and this is dummy data, just reminding everybody, this is not real data, we have a first quarter 23 debt, second quarter 23 debt. This amount is always going to show you all of your current outstanding amounts due, even if it's not late. If you come in and file your report before the due date for the next quarter, like you come in, in January and you file your fourth quarter report, it will show your tax due here, but if it's not late, you won't see any interest or penalties beside it. But these two reports that I filed earlier testing with, they are obviously late, and so that's why you see penalties and interest here. If you want to see penalty details, you can click on the little hyperlink right here, and it will show you what those penalties consist of specifically. It could be late payment penalty, or it could be late filing penalty and late payment penalty. It just all depends on the situation with that particular quarter and that debt. So the next section down here is make payment. We do tell you here that for payments, we do have a tax department of DES hierarchy that if you make a payment, we may not always apply it the way you would like. So if you have older debt and then you file the current quarter report and you make a payment for that current quarter report, if you pay it within 1 penny of the current quarter's due amount, we will apply it to the current quarter and not your older debt. Because if it's within 1 penny, we know that due to a rounding issue on the math, that you were most likely intending to pay the current quarter debt, and we're going to apply it there in that case. But if it's more than a penny difference from the outstanding amount due, we don't know what your intention was, so we're going to fall back on our payment hierarchy, and that typically is we pay the oldest debt first. And you won't have the ability to tell us what you want to apply it to. Our system is going to apply it based off that logic I just told you. So what you'll see here always, the total amount due, this is a read-only field, and it will always be the same number that you see here. That's the amount we would love for you to pay right now, so you can be paid in full when you complete this process. If, however, you're not prepared to make that full payment amount, that's you see in this block here, you can type in any payment amount that you want to pay. And we're going to say we are going to pay the full amount right now. And you have this drop down payment method, and these are the same 4 payment methods that we had before. ACH credit, ACH debit in our legacy system was called eCheck. The only difference with ACH debit is in eCheck in our old system is ACH debit is a full functioning ACH debit where you have the ability to schedule a payment for a future date. However, you can only schedule that payment for a future date if you don't have any other outstanding debt besides the current quarter and it's not past the current quarter's due date yet. So if you come on January 1, file your 4th quarter report, but you don't want the money to come out of your bank and come to us until January 31st, you can come in here and you see now you have a payment effective date. And you can plug in that date, but it can only be to the due date for the current quarter, and you cannot have any prior quarter debt or any late debt at all. Any late debt, we don't give you that luxury of paying in the future. You got to go ahead and schedule it for now. If I try to set this in the future, if I try to pick a different date, I want to pay it on the end of the month, December 31st. I should get an error message here. Yep. And this is what you will experience if you try to do that as well. But we're going to go back and say, no, we're going to do this today. I did want to give you one. I'm going to go through this list before I actually get past this page. ACH credit, we had that in our old system. The only real difference with that is there is a new ACH credit addenda record layout. So we have the specs for that listed on our website. So you can go use, you can get the updated addenda record layout and use that, and you won't have any problems with your payments posting directly, into our system when you initiate those payments. We are going to allow our old format to still be accepted by our system. However, we will not publish that old format anymore going forward. But we know that there's a lot of people who are continuing to make payments. And if you don't use our new addenda record format, that doesn't stop your bank from giving us the money, giving our agency the money. But with that addenda record, that's how we actually get the money applied to your account in NC Suits. So we are, because people are going to, despite what we tell them to do, they're going to, some people will continue to use the old format, either not knowing we have a new format or whatever. We are making NC Suits be able to accept the old addenda record format, but we do encourage you to use the new one, and we will only be publishing the specs to the new one going forward, to the new format. Credit card, that we had that in our old system. It's pretty much the same, although you will see a different screen that you go to when you initiate this payment. We have a third-party vendor that we use to process credit card payments, and we have switched vendors since from our legacy system to our new system for that function. So you will see the credit card screens. If you were using that in the past, they will look a little different. The information that you have to input is identical. But you will see the screens look a little different. We do still have the same $5 processing fee for every credit card payment that is added on to the amount you're trying to actually pay, NC Suits. And then paper check, you can still make paper checks, in NC Suits. The only real difference there is in our old system, we did have a payment voucher, and we have a payment voucher in NC Suits as well. That voucher, however, is different. And to maximize the efficiency with which your payment is processed, if you mail us a paper check, you do need to generate that voucher in NC Suits, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But you need to generate it and print it out and send it in the mail with your check. If you don't do that, staff is going to have to do that, and it's going to slow down the process of your check getting applied to your account. So if you do paper checks, please come in here, generate your payment voucher and print it out and put it in the envelope with your check. So with that said, we'll continue on with our payment right here with ACH debit. And we hit the, let's see, got the date right. Okay, so I'm not going to complete this payment here. You will put in your routing number, and you did this same thing if you used eChecks in our old system. You gave us the routing number for your bank and then your actual bank account number, and you have to put those amounts, those numbers in twice just to make sure you don't make any keying errors when you put them in the first time. And then you pick what kind of bank account is it, checking or savings. Another really nice feature that we have here that we didn't have in our old system is you can save this payment profile. So if you're making ACH debit payments every quarter, you don't have to re-enter this data if you don't want to. You can give this a profile name and then hit this checkbox here, and we will save that profile, and you will be able to, next time you come in to make a payment, select that payment profile, and you won't have to re-enter the routing number or bank account number again. So it'll be a little quicker for you if you want to do that. So we did not have that capability in our last system to save that data for you. So, so that's, and then I'll show you the next screen with the different payment method. I'm going to go back here. So you enter that data in, you'll proceed. So let's say we're going to do ACH credit. ACH credit, you're not actually making the payment when you select ACH credit, but what you are doing here, the purpose for doing this here is this will generate the addenda record that you need to give to your bank when you set the payment up in your bank. So you hit submit, and here is the addenda record that you need to copy and paste. And then if you use this addenda record and it set that payment up, ACH credit payment up in your bank, we will get the payment processed properly to your account as efficiently as possible. If you don't use this addenda record, if any of this data is not laid out the way it needs to be, your payment is going to have a problem. We will get your money if the account number at least is, and this is the account number field right here, this 99954. That's the account number field. If your account number is at least right, but there's other issues with the rest of the record, we will have the money applied to your account in NC Suits, but it will go into what we call a suspense file, where we couldn't allocate it fully to your account and pay the debt that you were trying to pay because there was a problem with the rest of the record. But at least we show the money in your account in our suspense file. When we get when we get what we need to get it properly applied to your account, we will release it from the suspense file, and then you will see the payment actually applied to your account. But so very important, if you're doing ACH credit, get this addenda record, this method here, and then use that when you set the payment up in your bank. And then you just close and go to your bank and do what you got to do there for the ACH credit payment, and then you're done. So we're going to go back in. So all I did right there with that was just generate an addenda record. Didn't actually make a payment. Credit card. When you get to this page, you simply hit the pay by credit card button, and it will tell you here about the $5 fee that we assess, and that's, again, not new. We had that in our old system. And when you hit this button, I'm not going to hit it, but when you hit it, it's going to take you out to the vendor that we use for credit card payments, and you will see the site looks a little different. You typically will be able to tell that you did leave NC Suits. But when you complete that process, you'll get a confirmation number, and then it will bring you back to NC Suits when you finish. The same way it did in our old system. And then the final method I want to show you was paper check. And you click on that, and obviously if you're submitting this, you're not actually giving us your paper check through NC Suits, you're planning to mail that. But what the purpose of this option is, this is how you're going to generate the voucher that I was telling you that you need for paper checks to send in to make sure your payment gets applied properly to your account. So you just hit submit right here. You just confirming the amount that you put in on the previous screen before you hit the submit, and then it brings you to this confirmation. You get a voucher ID number right here, and then if to print that voucher, you click that button. I think this is a training environment issue. This is working in production, or in our production environment that you guys will have access to, that you have access to now. It will download the voucher. It won't open it up on your screen in a new window. But if you look closely, depending on what browser you're using, I'm using Chrome, and if this didn't have this little training environment hiccup, you would have noticed, if you look real quick, it was right up here in this area, you'd have saw that it was downloading that document, and then you can click on it and open up the voucher itself. This doesn't actually print it; it downloads the voucher. So, but downloading is the first thing that you have to do before you can actually print it locally from your own printer. So we might actually change that label to download voucher instead of print voucher, or generate voucher actually is a better choice as well. But anyways, and if you don't notice your download up here, or depending on what browser it is, most everybody depending on what kind of operating system you're running, you have like a file like this, and you go to downloads, and you should see that that's the most recent downloaded file that you did is that voucher. So then you can open it up from there, and then you can print it out. So, and then once you print that voucher out, you can close this, go back, the system will save that voucher information, and we're, basically now we're just waiting for your check, you receive your check in the mail, with that voucher attached to it. And if you don't give us the voucher, like I said, we will have to go out and generate it or print one ourselves. Basically, that will take a little bit longer than if you'd just given us the voucher to start with. It goes right into a pipeline for your check and voucher to be scanned into our system, so that we can get that check cashed and the money applied to your account. If we have to create the voucher ourselves, that takes us a little bit longer. So that's the advantage for you printing the voucher out and sending it to us. So that's all the payment methods that we have in NC Suits.
Thank you, Kevin, for all of that. As a reminder, visit our website, des.nc.gov, for more information, resources including instructional videos, FAQs, documents, etc. You can also visit our site for a calendar of any upcoming webinars. Right now, we don't have any scheduled, but probably very soon we'll have some more. The NC Suits Technical Assistance Hotline can also be reached at 919-296-1569. So if you got any technical issues with NC Suits that you're dealing with right now, you can give them a call for assistance. And again, before we leave, I want to remind you that this demonstration was created exclusively for training and informational purposes. All information used for this demonstration is fictitious. Also note, information on topics regarding tax registration, reporting, payments, and filing is based on current state law and is subject to change. Once again, thank you for your excellent questions and for dedicating your valuable time to join us for today's webinar. We appreciate your engagement. Look forward to assisting you on your NC Suits journey. Thank you and have a great day.